And today we're talking about how to keep your lawn green through those dog days of summer. So tip number one for maintaining a healthy turf throughout summer is, I've said it once, I'll say it again, but mow high, mow high, mow high, mow high. I've said this tons and tons of times before and gotten kind of eviscerated on some videos before where people are like, whoa, warm season grass is not the same as cool season grass in terms of high. Yeah, I know, I'm not talking about like Snoop Dogg high, like cool season grass, like the fescue that's like super, super high. I'm talking about within your band. So whether you have Bermuda, Zoysia, St. Augustine, tall fescue, you name it, each individual type of seed or type of grass has a range that you're supposed to cut with. Figure out what you got, and my recommendation is always going to be cut on the higher end of that range and more often. And why is that my recommendation? Is because that regardless of the type of grass that you have, the taller the blade of grass above the soil level, the deeper generally the roots are going to be, and the more access it has to cooler and moister levels of soil the further you get down from that top level. So that's why I say cut high, is because when you cut high, you've got deeper roots. But also this is particularly important in the summer months to cut high because that higher level of blade right there provides more shade on the top level of grass, so that you're less influenced by heat and it stays a little bit cooler because it's shaded. And just another reason to cut high is that the higher you cut and the more green you allow to be visible to the sun, the more photosynthesis that happens within the plant, and then more of everything that I just talked about happens. So deeper roots, you know, an overall healthier plant happens when you cut it high. A lot of these golf courses and stuff like that are constantly putting stuff down on the grass itself to make sure that it's staying healthy because they're cutting it so short. It's not natural. It's not happening naturally. So please, cut high. So real quick, I thought we'd talk about why this is even an issue, why this happens in the summer months. Regardless of where you live, whether you're up north, down south, or somewhere in between, a lot of us deal with the same things in the middle of summer, and that's temperature and lack of moisture. So if you're living up north, you know, in your northern zones, I'll put a map up in here, your cool season zones or transitional zones, they don't respond well to temperature. And unless you have an in with Mother Nature, there's not really a lot we can do about that, but there are some steps that I'm going to talk about later on in the video that will help combat that. So temperature, kind of just take that out of your mind. You can't really do anything about that at all, but what we can do, and what the meat and potatoes of this video is, making sure that our lawn stays moist. So if it's moist and well watered correctly, and that doesn't mean just go throw water on your lawn, but if it's done correctly, you can even combat those temperature swings, those really, really high temperatures super, super well. So that's why your lawn goes dormant, or, you know, dead. Some people think dead. Even if it's a warm season grass like a Bermuda or a Zoysia or something like that, it will go dormant in the summer months because it's not getting an adequate level of moisture in those summer months. So what do we do? So now that we've established that you gotta cut high for them roots, how do we get those roots where we want them to be, which is not on the top level of the soil, but down deep where it's cool, moist, stays that way all year round, like a cave. It's cool, pretty temperature regulated further and further down the soil zone. The answer isn't just throw more water on it, though water is the answer. Resist the urge to water every single day. What I like to do, and what is generally recommended in this industry, is to water regularly but infrequently in deep, long soaking water. So what I like to do is water once, maybe twice if we're going through a drought, but I'll water once or twice a week for like 45 minutes to maybe an hour sometimes, depending on how hot it's getting. What I'm trying to do with those soaks is to get water way, way, way down there in that soil level, because water evaporates kind of inversely of that. So it will start evaporating up out of the soil levels and work its way down. So if I can get water down there, so roots kind of sense that. They'll sense water further and further down. They'll push themselves further down if you got water down there. So again, resist the urge to water every single day. Water deep, long soaks. And tip number 3 is about watering as well, but it's when to do that watering. And this is an important time. Gonna be no problem for me these days because life update, little guy's finally here. Jeez, this took forever. 9 months in the making, I guess. So yeah, no problem early morning waterings in the Graham house anymore. So yeah, and we ran that little contest. If you guessed his name, you'd win a free 0 turn. Fortunately for me, nobody guessed it. My favorite guess was Lonnie. Nobody guessed Jude. This is little Jude. So say hey to Jude. So yeah, super excited about this guy. Everybody say hey Jude in the comment section. Hey Jude. No problem early morning watering here. I am targeting maybe late fall, probably get him mowing out there. Hopefully he'll be able to do it himself at that point, but we'll see. So yeah, you want to water early in the morning, no problem there here. But watering in the morning does a couple things. Number one, it allows that water to soak further and further down throughout the day, or that in that early morning time period, it allows it to soak. You're not watering it in the hot portion of the time when you're putting like magnifying glasses on blades of grass with those water droplets. But also actually watering in the morning helps prevent fungus, because it does actually allow the blades of grass and the top layer of turf to dry out throughout the day, which will prevent fungus. So water in the mornings. And pro tip, if you have trouble watering early in the mornings, you got a weird work schedule, or you just don't want to deal with it, I really like these beehive watering like timers that you can get at Home Depot. This one's got 4 zones, so I can actually set up a whole bunch of hoses throughout my lawn and not even have to worry about it at all. I just put it on a timer and set it and start it usually about 5 o'clock in the morning, depending, sometimes even 4:30 if I've got a lot of watering to do. That will allow that water to get real deep, real good. You'll have real green grass. And tip number 4 for me in maintaining a healthy lawn all summer long is to make sure that my blade is sharp on my mower. I made a DIY short about this, walking through the exact process and how to sharpen your lawnmower blades, or you could just take it to Ace and they'll sharpen them for you. But again, like I said earlier, tearing the grass blades with a dull blade like that makes you have frosted tips. You remember those guys? Like, bye. Frosted tips aren't cool anymore. What those frosted or frayed tips on your lawns do is just increase stress on your grass itself. And like I said, heat and lack of moisture are adding enough stress to your lawn already, so you want to add as little stress to your lawn as possible. So sharpen your lawnmower blades at the beginning of summer. And tip number 5 is to make sure that you're feeding your lawn well going into summer. End of spring, beginning of summer, make sure you hit it with another fertilization regimen. I'll put some fertilizers that I really recommend down in the description of this video, but make sure you feed it at the beginning of summer, not in the middle of summer, or really at the end of summer. You don't want to feed it right there. That's going to promote growth. And if you got a cool season turf, it does not want to grow in the summer month. Your warm season guys, I've got a schedule that I'll put in the description of this video as well that you can follow too. Your feeding regimens are a little bit different, but the same really applies. Don't feed a stressed out lawn. So I guess that tip summed up is basically don't fertilize your lawn in the middle of summer, fertilize it at the beginning of summer. So my favorite tip in this bunch is tip number 6. This is a pro tip. I've made a video about it in the past, but ironite. Put down some ironite. Really, you can put it down at the beginning of summer and really midway through summer. It's not a fertilizer, so it's not gonna stimulate growth. It is a mineral supplement that's gonna make your lawn greener. It's gonna help it maintain that green color throughout those hot summer months. So put down some ironite. I'll put a link up here right to that video as well, so you know exactly how to use it. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this week's video. Again, if you like this video, you might like this video too. Until next time, keep cutting. We'll see y'all again. Peace.